What's going on, guys? It's Luke here. This is how we ended up taking a nice win today. On Monday, we ended up netting about $300 on 5 accounts. Again, I said on this Monday, I was going to be de-risking just because we have a heavy news week coming up. So I didn't go heavy. I only took a couple micros on each account. So here's the executions on the trade right there. We ended up taking this on Top Step. So basically, this ended up being kind of a reversal. I thought that I honestly missed the move coming into market open because off market open, I said in the Discord to watch out for that 5-minute gap below. And as you guys can see, we just ripped off this 5-minute gap. And I know probably a lot of people entered off this 1-minute candle right here, but for me, that's really close to market open. At that point, I was looking for continuations to the upside. I didn't really see anything except this 3-minute, but at this point, I just didn't want to take this. And then price ended up taking out finally this hourly high up here. So we had this hourly high marked out at 25,244, and at this point we ended up taking out this high, like I said. And if you look at ES never took it out, therefore we put in a bearish SMT. So as you can see, ES never took out that high, NQ took out the high, so we have a bearish SMT getting formed at this point, right? So at this point, I'm kind of scaling down, and what I'm noticing, because this is right before 10 o'clock, I'm noticing that we're forming a 15-minute bullish fair value gap right here. So imagine this wasn't here, like these candles weren't here. This 15-minute bullish fair value gap that I have marked out was forming at this point. So I said in the Discord to watch out and mark out that 15-minute gap that's probably going to get formed wherever I said it. Somewhere in here, I said to mark it out. Whatever. Yeah, anyway, I said it in there. So basically, I wanted to see price kind of rebalance into this 15-minute gap before continuing up, or just for price to pull into this gap, rebalance it, and then if we want to go lower from there, we can go lower from there. But I just figured at this point, since we had this super overextended push to the upside, we put in a bearish SMT off the highs. I figured that price could come down and rebalance into this 15-minute gap before either continuing up or use it as an area to inverse before continuing back down, because we had draws higher at London high and true day open. We also had a draw lower at a 1-hour first presented fair value gap. So price could literally go either way at this point. My idea of this trade was just to catch the rebalance and then just be done for the day, because again, it's Monday. I'm not trying to over leverage. I'm not trying to hold. I'm just trying to get my profit, get in and out. So at this point, I go down to the 5-minute. And I'm noticing for the highest time frame inverse in this case, it's this 5-minute bullish fair value gap right here. So we catch this high, we sweep out this high, NQ sweeps it out, ES doesn't. We have a bearish SMT, we have a clear draw at this 15-minute gap to rebalance the leg. So I'm looking at the highest time frame inversion, and again, it's this 5-minute gap right here. So on the candle right here, this was the 955 candle going into 10. We end up inversing this 5-minute gap. As soon as it inverses and we get the poke back in, I end up taking my entry right there. So I end up getting an entry at about 197. I run my stops just above the high. I think it was above this candle's high, whatever. It was around like 50, 60 points, something like that. I think it was like right there. And basically, as soon as price entered within this 15-minute gap, so on this candle right here at 10:03, I immediately locked my stops in at break even. And my idea, again, was to target the CE point of this 15-minute gap. So I scaled out a little bit right here on this push, and then I scaled out the rest manually after we tapped CE. I ended up getting a little bit of a late fill on that. I think my actual exit was up here, something like that. I think I only ended up catching about like 1.5 R. I think it was, I don't know, something like that. I'll have to check the screenshots again after. But basically, starting from the top, let me just back up here. Let's go to the 1-hour one really quick. Price came up. Off market open, price came down, initially bounced off this 5-minute gap and ended up pushing price to the upside. We ended up sweeping out this hourly high. And again, if we look at ES never swept out that high. Therefore, we have a bearish SMT off the highs. We look at the 15-minute. We're overextended push to the upside. I want to see price rebalance into this 15-minute gap before either continuing up or inversing it and continuing lower. But regardless, I just want to see it get rebalanced. We go to the 5-minute, we find the highest time frame inverse, which is this 5-minute bullish FVG. We inverse it, we get in on the retrace around 10 a.m., stops above the highs, and 1 TP was our idea at 15-minute CE. Again, I get one exit out right here, manually exit one contract or a bit right here, and then manually exit the rest after we wick in. I get a little bit of a worse fill, but it's all good regardless. The trade was around like 1.5 to 1.7 R, so not too bad. So That's it for me, guys. Again, no news tomorrow, so I'll be back on the charts tomorrow pretty much normally just because it's Tuesday. We have NFP the next day and all that stuff, so it should be a crazy rest of the week. But de-risk today, but we ended up taking the win, walking away with about $1,500, so I can't complain. So that's it for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Again, link for the Discord's in the pinned comment, and if you guys need a sign up link for Alpha Futures, link is in the pinned comment as well. And that's it for me. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.